when I start this channel, I want to bring authentic conversations to the forefront. I want to be able to allow people to come on to share their stories authentically, and stories that affect the home and affect the family. So it's exactly what we're going to do today. I have my friend Stacy, who's joining me to have an amazing conversation about parental alienation. And so sorry, for your loss of your dad. And do want to say, because you mentioned there, there's nothing you can do about, certain things at this point. And you mentioned your mom has had that conversation of forgiveness or apologize, I'm sorry, to others in the family. How much of you wants their apology directly from her?
Yeah, I think I, I think because I can sit back and just kind of show people grace and think about their life path and things like that, I can be like, you know what? It is what it is. If we can't do anything about it now, I just kind of use this space now moving forward to take lessons in my life, even things that I feel weren't exactly my fault, to kind of move forward and teach. I don't even know how I would take that apology, like, because my mom doesn't apologize, so it'd almost be weird. She'd probably start to apologize, like, "What are you doing? Stop that! This is weird," because we don't have that kind of relationship.
Right. Man, that's yet another thing we have in common, Stacy. I can count on one hand the apologies I received from my mother. Uh, but let's talk about the reconciliation, because you said now that you and your mom are on speaking terms. Tell us a little bit how that came about.
Well, she did eventually call me. I want to say maybe 3, 4 months after that incident. Um, but it's funny because the first thing she said was, "I'm not mad at you." And at that point, my hair is falling out. I don't care who's mad at me.
Yeah.
I don't care. But that was how she started it off. But I I feel like when I was, and I'm going to say the word hypnotized, because there was a long time that I put my mom on such a high pedestal to the point where my friends would come around. We're in our 30s and they would say a cuss word. And I'm like, my mother is right there. Don't you say that. And they're like, it wasn't even a bad cuss word. But my mom is there. And my mom was probably satisfied with me doing things like that. But I noticed I was doing it really for her approval. So our relationship is not that now, because I kind of consider that part of me is when I was younger. Well, now I'm 40. So you're not going to get that. I'm not going to break my back trying to make anybody happy. So
Yeah.
um, I would say, ironically enough, me and my mom's relationship turned into the very relationship me and my dad had. It's like we're neighbors. Like, there's certain things I don't feel comfortable talking to my mom about. I kind of feel like, even though I don't look the same like I did in high school. I was a little heavier then, and then of course I had a beard and I don't have no hair now. But um, I think how I am, my mom, we're different. Like, I'm spiritual. That stuff sounds crazy to my mom, and so we're kind of like neighbors. It's almost full circle. Came back to me having the same kind of relationship I had with my dad.
Yeah. It's funny how that works. She was fighting so hard to maintain a relationship,
Mm,
whether that be authentic or not. But she
yeah.
was fighting so hard, and now it's just a total different dynamic. And how does
Mm.
that make you feel, knowing that it is where it is right now?
I think it's a defense mechanism, honestly, because I can tell you, oh, it doesn't bother me, I don't care, but I know there's like this little tinge in me when I say that, like, a small part of you does. You wish it could be different, but I'm like, I'm open to it being different. I've always been open to it being different, but I can't force her to look at it that way. So I'm okay with it. I look at my daughter and I'm like, well, we're gonna have a good relationship. I mean, I'm not saying we'll be best friends, and we might have two different personalities, but she'll know that I love her. Even if I fall out with her father, that's your dad, because of him, you. So
Yeah.
I'll always, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. Let's talk a little bit about alopecia and just hair loss overall. Because I did look it up, and I think Jada Pinkett has made alopecia of just a, a viral term, I guess, over the
Mhm.
last couple of years.
I'm mad at her
But
for
so
that. Hmm. Yeah.
I get it. So I wanted to look it up just to make sure that I was on the right step with it, and it goes in line with what you said. So, because it says alopecia is a condition that causes hair loss. It can be caused by autoimmune disorders, genetic factors, lifestyle factors, or psychological factors, which
Mhm.
I was not aware of. And
Yeah.
so, tell us about alopecia. And you mentioned before how those psychological factors have come to play for you. Just give us an overall, a, overall look into your journey of that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say something very strange first. I didn't know what alopecia was at all. I, and the time that I I remember hearing about it before I even had it, there was a maybe a show, it could have been Dr. Phil or something like that. And there was a woman on there that had it, but she had like some hair still, so it was like patches. And I'm like, why don't she just cut that off? Why? Ew, that looks gross. And like I was making comments like that, like, oh my gosh, why did that? But so once it happened to me, my thinking was, oh my gosh, people are gonna say that's gross, and because I'm thinking that if I looked at it that way, but no, it wasn't like that at all. Everybody is like, girl, but so I didn't know much about it. So when the doctor said I was just having postpartum hair loss, I assumed, well, maybe mine is different because everybody else's is coming out just a little. Mine's. But I Jada Pinkett really did shine a light on it because that's when people started asking a lot of questions about it. But I will say that I was okay with being bald headed. The issue with me was my eyelashes went, my eyebrows went, my body hair all together went. So that was something new. It was a lot of things that I had to get used to. Like we need nose hairs. I didn't realize how badly we needed nose hairs till I went for a walk and a few flies, made their way in my nose.
Oh
So
wow,
yep, and in your
man.
eyes. So when I sweat, I have no eyebrows to kind of stop it.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of things that um go on with alopecia, but I didn't talk so much. I didn't forgot your question, Mel.
No, it was just your overall journey. You're spot on with it because you're filling me in because I had no clue. I mean, you would never think that those hairs are important, and we
Yeah,
fight so hard to get rid of those hairs,
right.
and
And that's the thing that I tell people. The funny thing is, like before all of this, my highest weight, I was like 335 pounds at one point, and I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, which caused me to have facial hair. Um, yeah, I had facial hair. I had a lot of body hair, and to go from being big with all that hair and then I lost weight and lost all my hair, it was just like, I can't believe it. I used to make a
Mm.
wish and say I wish I was skinny and I didn't have a beard, and I did not mean this, but not what I asked for.
What they say, be careful what you ask for.
That's why I tell people I am living proof of that.
Well, I love it. I love it how you take it in stride, and I think that's a more than anything an inspiring thing because so many people, man, I come across even with the content I do, and people reaching out for coaching, just are so in such despair based on the things that they are experiencing and the things that they believe maybe God did to them or just the short straw that they drew in life. What has brought just a sense of joy that you have, even though this is can be viewed upon by many as a hardship?
Because feeling in that low place of like there was a place where I was saying, gosh, my husband doesn't deserve to have a wife that looks like this. Like, this wasn't his fault that this happened, and this has to be embarrassing for him. And he's not said any of that. I started finding that being in that place is so much work. It's so much harder. And I'm not saying that I'm all happy all the time, but in the beginning, it was just a miserable place because, there were people, oh, you're still pretty. Oh, you have the right head shape for it. But my thing was, thank you, but this is a loss. This is a loss. I've never been bald a day in my life. So for people to, oh, you'll be okay. At least you don't have to go to the salon anymore. But I want to go to the salon. Like, this is, I'm a new person now. I have this new life that I have to embrace, and nobody else around me has this issue. I met one person, and I was 6 years ago, that had the kind of alopecia that I had. So I felt very alone and very dismissed when I would try to talk to people about it. And then one day, I think I prayed about it, and I had this thought in my head, like, if I'm going to be bald and it's never going to come back, then I'm going to be Wakanda. Why I'm be sad about it? I'm tired of being sad. Wakanda. Like, I just everything.
Right.
And then I noticed with me feeling like that, people started wanting to ask questions and wanting to get to know me and things like that. And, I'm never offended. There's people, there's something, a funny interaction I had with someone. This guy used to work at this cafe, and he came in and he goes, I've been meaning to talk to you about something. Can you come over and we talk on the side a minute? I'm like, yeah. He goes, now, I want to say you're brave because I don't go to the doctor. The last time I got my prostate checked, now I'm looking at him like, now wait, there's two things here. So I know you're bringing up cancer, but are you calling me a man? Like, wait. He's like, no. I'm like, you can't be starting your stories off like that. What are you getting at? He was like, well, I just want to know how long you were in chemo. And I'm like, definitely not in chemo. So I had to explain alopecia to him. But that's usually the first thing people think is, I'm going through some kind of chemo or something. So you always have to like teach people that. But otherwise, the sad place I was in, a lot of people a lot of my friends always say, one thing, like, God has done a lot of things, but God really, he sent me, like, there's people that can't even say they have 2 friends. I have 6 best friends. I can't pick a favorite. I have 6 of them. Like, I don't know how lucky I got there, but they got me through it. So
yeah,
that helped. I had a good support system.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Man, that's brings me joy to hear you say that for sure. I just got to ask out of curiosity though, because I brought it up and you responded. What was it that you were mad about with Jada? What made you mad about Jada?
Oh, okay. So I don't know her medical history because I don't know her at all. But after doing some research and seeing some videos, there's a doctor on YouTube who has the same kind of alopecia that I have. And he was describing how when alopecia happens, it usually starts off like a circle in your scalp. Like they come out in circly patches. Well, with Jada Pinkett, she's had facelifts. They have to cut here. The hair won't grow back over a scar. Okay, so it's like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's alopecia, I guess, if the hair won't grow back, but it's not alopecia in the way, that it just kind of happens.
Oh my goodness.
So that was my only thing with Jada. I'm like, you're, and now she has hair, and they actually have prescriptions where people can grow their hair back. But so I'm just like, I kind of feel like she milked that to be a victim. And I'm like, there are really people that have this. Like, quit playing, lady. But then again, I could be wrong. She probably had it. It's just suspicious to me.
Yes, it's very suspicious. I'll venture to say you're spot on because it just seems so. So what you're saying, just to be sure I'm tracking, she more than likely got her hair cut for the scars of her facelift, and that didn't grow back.
Yeah,
and then she just cut it all off to match what the scars were.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's what I'm thinking.
That makes sense. That sounds like something she would do. But anyway,
she wasn't clean bald either. Like, even at the show where Will slapped Chris, it was like, well, I mean, I still see some hair. Like, so I was like, okay. But the thing that made me mad was I was still at that point around that time where I was kind of still an introverted baldy. And then it was like everybody was staring at me like, oh, there's somebody with it. Like, they had never seen one before. And now all of a sudden, because of her, and will. Now everybody, you have alopecia. Yes, I have alopecia. Oh my god. Yeah, I was irritated with them after that.
I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. So I want to ask, and to kind of bring this all together, in what ways could you see? Just follow me here for a second. I'm kind of weird on certain things. Is there any ways that you can correlate your experience of what you experienced with your parents and what you have experienced with the alopecia? Just any type of heartbreak or any things that you have experienced that you can see those two worlds colliding, I guess.
Oh man, I have to think of that. Was actually um are almost like things happening for a reason or things lining up in life.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the parents that I had, I know I wouldn't be this way. Um my I needed them to be this way because I honestly feel like if they were any different, and maybe if I was slightly any different, I don't think I'd be able to maintain things that has happened to me. Because even though, yeah, I had alopecia, the relationship with my mom, the relationship with my dad, and then him passing away, and like I told you, now I have 2 children, both of them have autism, so I have to. Maybe it's a defense mechanism for my sanity. I have to kind of hold it together. So things that would probably bother the average person, like as far as past things or the things that I'm going through now or with my alopecia, I know how to minimize them now. Like if it's important, I'll deal with it. But if it's something where it's just like, it's gonna be okay, just live. Like I think that a lot of things in my past just molded me to where I am now. So like I can look at my parents and think about the relationship they might have had, and I can look at them as 2 immature kids because now I'm older than both of them when they met me, or even when they had me at their age. But so yeah, that's where I kind of try to be now with it.
Yeah. That's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So being that you've had the parents that you had and the experiences that you had with them and what you're now creating with you and your husband and your family, trying to just be the change that you want to see, so to speak. Can you describe a future world that you'd like to see for family or co-parenting overall?
Yeah, I would love for everybody to have empathy for their children. We're too, you know, you stay in a child's place, and it's like, yeah, to a degree, they should. There's things that kids shouldn't be involved in, but I think instead of trying to insert our feelings and things that we would do onto our children, suggest it, say why you would do it. You ain't got to. That's just what I would do. You use those kind of things. But I definitely feel like when it comes to parents, more empathy is needed and
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting ready to wrap up here. What's a message or just an overall advice that you would like to convey to the listeners or the watchers of this?
I would like to convey just 2 things. One is, um, I'm trying to think of how I can word this. Your choices that you make in life, you know, they can absolutely affect your future. But I would say the best thing in life that you can do, as far as, I guess I can't say, I'm trying to think of how I can word this. Okay. So if you are in a low place, I think the best thing that you can do is to find what makes you happy. You know, I had to do that same thing with me. You know, when me and my mom's relationship didn't go right, when my hair fell out, you just have to find that space that makes you happy. If you don't have a support system, you know, go for a walk, get some sun. But otherwise, you know, don't be a problem for people. Don't be a problem for your kids. Just don't be a problem for people. Learn from your mistakes. You know, we all make them, own them, testify about them. And that's pretty much what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Stacy, it's been incredible having you on. It's been incredible just interacting. You know, we've been knowing each other for a
Yes.
while now, and just been great to have this conversation with you. Just want to open up the floor. If you have any other last words, definitely feel free to share. Share also how people can follow you on any social medias that you would like. The floor is
Um,
yours.
okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. I've been wanting to come on the show, and that was the time I saw something. I'm like, yes, I can finally come on. But yeah, you can follow me on TikTok. I'm at Ricochet Rose Tarot. That's RIQOCHET Rose Tarot TAROT.
Yes, indeed. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.
Let's go.